the layer 1 space has definitely gained traction with blockchains like Avalanche, Solana, Near, and even Ton offering a robust Web3 ecosystem. But there's still a lot more to improve in terms of DeFi and real-world assets, making it easier to use and, very importantly, being safe and secure. So that's exactly why we're bringing you Haven1 and how this layer 1 is going to better protect users as well as businesses. So today I'm glad to invite Jeff Owens. He's the co-founder of Haven1. How are you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Karu. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, likewise. So look, let's just jump right into the first question. And we all know that DeFi has taken off, right? It's becoming a lot more popular. But the truth of the fact is it's still far from being actually safe and accessible for most people. So as we kind of go into this, more mainstream adoption of DeFi, can you tell us more about how Haven1 is raising the standards of, let's call it on-chain finance, that's going to be superior, right, in terms of protecting users and businesses?
Yeah, so I think it all starts with there's three core principles that I think the Haven1 network really does well. So the first is around bringing accountability to the developers. What I mean by that is mandating smart contract audits. So today, a big problem that exists in Web3 is that products and protocols do get audited, but they don't actually have to maintain those audits over time. And so what you see is oftentimes protocols will deploy a new smart contract. They may still on their site say that they've been audited, and so the users are interacting with their protocol thinking that this is a recently audited protocol, but it's actually not. And so the first thing Haven1 will do is it's going to mandate that all protocols go through 3 smart contract audits. And so we're putting together a consortium right now of about 12 different auditors, and then that will lower the price and make sure that it's affordable for the developers deploying onto Haven1. So that's the first thing. The second thing is in traditional finance, something that is very common is recourse. I think most people nowadays have credit cards and they understand that if there is fraud on their credit card, they can click freeze their credit card and it will stop all transactions that occur on their account. So Haven1 will also enable users to do that when they through a process that we're calling dispute resolution. The second thing is on-chain ongoing anomaly detection, and this is working with those auditing partners as well as Haven1 has its own 135-point risk-based model that will be constantly checking the network for different anomalies that could be occurring and freezing any sort of assets that could be flagged as fraudulent for review. The third is actually bringing counterparties to the space, so understanding who you're interacting with. So Haven1 is a permissioned ecosystem, so all users, both builders, validators, and investors will need to go through identity verification before entering the ecosystem. What happens is that they work with compliance partners to provide their KYC information or their know your customer information. This is their identity, ID documents or passport, whatever it may be. The KYC provider then mints an on-chain identity NFT associated to that user's wallet, which allows them to transact on the Haven1 network securely. So those are kind of the 3 core things that we're bringing. It's really kind of bringing some traditional finance principles onto the Haven1 blockchain, which uses the actual on-chain infrastructure to secure our customers' assets.
Yeah, it definitely sounds a lot more safer and let's say accountability, right, from the Haven1 side.
Exactly.
When you were talking about audited apps, it's good to have 3 of them, 3 audits, right, per project. Can we think of it as let's say the App Store model or Google Play, where you need to go through stringent review before it actually gets listed?
That's exactly what you can think of it as. So it's actually an analogy that we often use, which is we're like the Apple App Store review process. So protocols come in, they submit their project, they showcase the audits that they've done, governance reviews that, and governance will actually be the layer that deploys a smart contract into the mainnet for Haven1.
Understood, okay. And then of course, that also means it needs to be secure from the ground up. And I know I was looking at the token metrics research report, and one of them had a 15 out of 15 score, right, in terms of the code quality. Can you kind of reflect, what does this mean and why should I as a user care?
Yeah, so I think this is one of the things that's important in crypto today is getting as many people reviewing your code as possible. So what happens with DeFi today is that these developers and engineers are creating smart contracts, which are really financial, very robust financial instruments And these things need to be audited, and they need to have third-party unbiased reviews. And so, ironically enough, Token Metrics actually didn't even tell us that they were going to do a review of our project, and we were very, very pleased with the results. And so that's one of many things that we'll be doing at a network level to showcase that we are a secure blockchain, and we will also go through multiple audits ourselves as well.
Yeah, it's very important. Okay. So when it comes to layer ones, I think the best way to illustrate is, the use cases, right? And what kind of apps are going to be built on top. So with Haven1 in particular, let's talk about what kind of applications or use cases would be best suited, right, for this chain that is often difficult, or let's say not practical to build on other EVM chains or, existing layer ones out there.
Yeah, so I think what we see today in the DeFi space is that a lot of the same liquidity is circulated, and it's usually across the same core applications. So these are DEXs, these are lending markets, maybe even some perps markets that exist today. What Haven1 is doing is we're actually really trying to expand on that. And so we're targeting a lot of real world asset companies to develop on top of Haven1. And so just an example of this is wealth management apps. So a lot of wealth management apps, some of you may have heard of like Robinhood, or there's Archex in UK. These are companies that offer securities, so stocks, bonds, and ETFs to their clients. So one of the unique things that Haven is working on is trying to help them move on chain so they can tokenize these securities, access new liquidities, reduce some of the intermediaries so that they can actually pass on better prices to the consumers. A lot of people don't realize that one of the biggest costs is all these intermediaries that exist today. And where blockchain solves that is that you don't need to have them like clearinghouses, et cetera. But the big thing is, as a real world asset company, so a company that's offering, let's say, these stocks, bonds, and ETFs, the moment that they want to bring those assets on chain, they're taking on a massive underlying risk as the custodian. And so we're working with several companies that offer these solutions today. And what they really like about Haven1 is the fact that we do have recourse. We do have these mandated smart contract audits, because it allows them to pass their own internal risk procedures. And, because where the biggest problem is that if they have some sort of hack or exploit, they're going to be the ones that are on the hook for this. And when you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, it's something that a lot of companies that are in the traditional finance space cannot stomach today.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, although we keep saying DeFi, decentralized, it doesn't mean, there shouldn't be accountability, right? At the end of the day, things will happen, stuff will go down, and we need to have someone responsible. So that's great. Let's say in terms of, keeping the assets safe, a lot of people use custodians for these enterprise type of security. Are you guys working with any partners for the security aspect?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the best parts about Haven1 is it's kind of combining the best things of blockchain infrastructure, which is self-custody, complete control, and instant settlements, with that like fintech experience. So having network guardrails, recourse, 24/7 support. And so the way that users onboard into Haven1 is they actually go through our secure bridge, which is powered by Fireblocks. And the beauty of this is that Fireblocks is MPC technology, multi-party computation technology. It's not touched by the foundation or the association, excuse me. And in fact, what we'll do is we'll show a one-to-one asset backing at all times. So there's a proof of reserves oracle on Chainlink that we will integrate directly into Fireblocks to show that when you deposit assets into the Haven1 secure bridge, then that gets minted onto the Haven1 blockchain, that they're always one-to-one. So that still enables you to do self-custody. It still enables you to have complete control on-chain, instant settlements, but at the same time, you have that security knowing that Fireblocks is there, backing up those assets.
Understood. And another use case I was actually reading about, right, is under-collateralized DeFi. Now, the thing is, we all want to make money, but make sure, less risk and with less assets as possible. But it's difficult to do without any loans or, under collateral in DeFi just because of the way it works. But I think with Haven1, there's a bigger chance that it can really make this practical. So can you kind of explain how that would work?
Yeah, so this is just in general a very tricky one, and just to give full preface to this, I don't think Haven1 will be able to solve this at the start, but that doesn't mean that we aren't creating the frameworks that will enable somebody to come in and solve this in the future. And so what I mean by this is typically, based on each jurisdiction, in order to provide under-collateralized lending, you need to have an underwriting process. And that underwriting process means that you understand and know who the counterparties are and can see their entire history of like financials. And this is proof of paying your credit cards, paying down your mortgage, whatever it may be, basically paying off your debt. So with our identity verification framework that's there, developers will be able to tap into our compliance related partners backend and potentially do things like passporting information. And what this does from a consumer standpoint is you just have a single place in which you need to do KYC and update your KYC over time. So you're not having to do this in every single protocol that you're interacting with. And from a development standpoint, they can then also have a single point that they're tapping into to allow customers to basically passport their information back and forth. But yeah, I do want to be very clear that like Haven1 itself doesn't necessarily solve that problem, but we are working to create the frameworks in place. And if there's anybody out there that is looking to do this, we'd love to talk to them and see how we can support them along this journey, because I do believe this is a very, very important thing for the growth of any sort of on-chain finance and Web3 products.
Yeah, that's right. And then when it comes to creating a meaningful products, I know you guys walk the talk as well, and you're in the testnet phase, right? So can you tell us more about the testnet and yeah, what can people do with it essentially?
Yeah, so we just went into public testnet on December 13th, and we've actually had a pretty large amount of traction so far. So there's over 7,500 people that have signed up to join the wait list, and we'll slowly be rolling people onto that. And just taking customer feedback over time, enhancing the products. Within the first phase of the public testnet, there's 5 core protocols. Well, actually, let me take that back. There's 1 protocol of the 5 core protocols. The first is going to be our own DEX that is there, and then slowly being rolled out will be additional protocols like our lending market, our perps market, an NFT marketplace, and an account name service, similar to like an ENS domain service that Ethereum has. And then, yeah, we're working with builders to come in and start deploying on top of Haven1, building on top of Haven1. We'll have a developer grant program coming out in the next couple days here. And yeah, I think the main thing with the public incentivized testnet is it is incentivized. So the earlier you join, the more chances to earn. We're looking for things like feedback, daily interactions with our platform. And as we roll out new products, we will be prioritizing people that are the first to be interacting with the new features.
Awesome, yeah. I think it's always good to test things and get feedback from the community and to see what they're saying, because I know there's so many things you can't predict, but that's just part of the process of building.
Exactly.
Okay, great. So look, I know part of Web3 is just, keeping up with the project, right? And also, let's say if you participate in the testnet, I'm sure, if you want to provide a feedback, right? What's like the best place or channel where we can interact with your team?
Yeah, so if you go to haven1.org and then you join the testnet, there's a couple different places on the testnet that enable you to provide feedback. So we have a Google form that you can submit to directly. You can always reach out to support@haven1.org as well. And we're triaging bugs all the time there as they come in. And then we have Discord as well. So you can join our Discord directly from the testnet once you log in there. In order to join our testnet, we will require all users to verify through Discord. So that's probably your number one stop.
Perfect. And I would say, yeah, timing wise, it's the start of the bull market, right? So, excellent time to start building and gaining traction, and let's just see how this takes off.
Yeah, exactly. It's exciting times ahead. I think with 2024, there's a lot of good things coming. So hopefully we can see a Bitcoin spot ETF approved. Hopefully, things
Yeah.
will ramp up as the halving comes. And Haven1, I can tell you, will be certainly looking to deploy our main nets in probably middle of 2024. So target around July.
Yeah, for sure. And I know everyone's talking about the spot Bitcoin ETF. We all know it's coming. It's just a matter of exactly when. But when that comes off, personally, I think it's just going to mark a new phase of, institutional regulated crypto products are now basically approved, right? Let's continue to build more and get it out there kind of momentum. So very excited in this aspect.
Yeah, me too. It's exciting times. I think 2024, like we said, is going to be a very, very good year. So, well, knock on wood, I guess, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for the summary, Jeff. We look forward to, the testnet, eventually mainnet and so forth. And keep us updated. We hope to have you back on our channel for new updates, right? New angles on Haven1.
Likewise, thanks for the time, Hikaru, and feel free to join us on haven1.org. Join the testnet early, and hopefully you'll get the best incentives for doing so.
Yeah, and then we'll include the links down in the description. Okay, thank you,
Great.
Jeff. Have a nice one.
Thanks, Hikaru. Talk to you later.